So at least temporarily, you lost her. And it makes me very sad. She's quite a woman. But right now, rather screwed up in her mind and in her body, feeling no joy, feeling very little Shakti, only feeling paranoia, fear, and that there's evil around her everywhere. And I told her she should confront Remco, but I don't know whether she'll do it or not. She said she has to be alone. Somebody's got their microphone on besides me. So, is there any feedback on that before we start?
Hi, Ed.
Yes.
Everything I know about the Remco episode leads me to think that this man is the exact opposite of what a spiritual teacher should be.
Yeah.
And what he's accusing you of is, you know, like more like what he's doing.
Exactly so.
That's it.
Exactly so.
I had, I think it's not, or she may left us, but as you told the story, the energy and Shakti was arising in me, and I think there is every time a connection, and even in this moment, I have these strong vibrations, and I think they will reach her, and we can support her, and I think a conflict with Remco is makes no sense. So let him go, and
yeah, it's easy to say that. It's much harder when she's buried in your heart to say let her go.
no, don't let her go. Let Remco go. Don't have no conflicts with him. You don't have to let go Angela in any way. No, that was a misunderstanding.
Okay.
Hey, this is James. It's just superstition. She'll be back. I don't know when, but she'll be back for sure. Eventually, one day it'll just hit her and go, "Oh, I was being silly," you know. And oh, Ed, does she live in Holland, by the way?
Yes.
My wife is Dutch, and we're going to be in Holland for a few days in August. So if we can be any kind of emissary, you know, we'd be happy to.
That would be nice. Thank you. Okay. Let's begin. I love you all. I'm glad you're here. I know many of you love me a lot. I can feel it. And I can feel the energies flowing through our Sangha, even today. And maybe you don't know this, but some of you do. I don't see you as people. I feel you as spirit, as energy beings, not as people. And that energy being in you, the life force in you, I bow to that life force. If you knew that life force inside yourself, God inside yourself, you would worship yourself. If you knew it in other people, would worship them as God too. Just as I did, just as I do. I don't see you as people. I see you as gods and goddesses, as pure spirit. But at the same time, I can easily see when I speak to you face to face, hear your words, your suffering, how you've wrapped yourself in convention and tied yourself up into the mundane world of human beings. Angela does it with this fantasy about evil spirits, entities, and demons. I told her Ramana never spoke about demons or entities or made a big thing out of it. Neither did Robert. Neither did Nisargadatta. Neither did Ramakrishna or Vivekananda. This is a concept falling from certain Christian schools just in the last century. Don't be blinded by it. It's only an idea, not a reality, unless you make it so with your mind. But I don't see you as people. I see you as spirit. Spencer as spirit. Brad as spirit. Michael T. and Michael K. as spirit. Vesselina as spirit. Ralph as actively manifesting spirit. Stevie as actively manifesting spirit. And this is what I want to give to you. The knowledge of your true self as spirit, separate from the body. And this spirit is your incarnation in this body, your life in this body. You identify with the externals, all the daily experiences you go through with your girlfriend, wife, husband, at your job, what you read, what you feel when you explore yourself. None of those things are you. Not even the Shakti is you. You're beyond even Shakti. But Shakti and love can bring you the experience of God within yourself as yourself. It's like going beyond Advaita and reincarnating into the body as spirit, knowing your spirit, but a body at the same time as the vessel. With that in mind, you know that you're infinite. You're God, both as the Atman, the individual life force incarnated in your body, but as God, the universal, which is the totality of the life force spread across the universe in all the various life forms. When you can look at a cat and worship a cat in the same way you worship your beloved or God, then you have joined the universal spirit. You have joined the Godhead. And you are Atman, connected to Brahman. And then there's no more mystery in your life. I mean, mystery meaning the unknown. It's like every moment of the day, your movements are directed and very assured, not by your human self, but by God and through God. What an experience to know that you're God and not Michael T. or Josh. or Spencer. You're not a bit of protoplasm. The bit of protoplasm is only your car, your house, your temple. It's not you. You are entirely beyond knowing or understanding. You are that Robert talks about as the witness of all consciousness. But you do come back to the world after that discovery, and you reincarnate by recognizing yourself as spirit, entombed, incarnated into a body that is a mortal shell. But you no longer consider it to be yourself. You consider yourself to be spirit, ever changing, filled with energy, feeling Shakti, feeling love, feeling God inside always, so that you're never alone. And you know that you're not the body. You're the life force inside. Sometimes Shakti moves in you very strongly. Shakti is not the life force. It's the language of the life force speaking to you. But the life force itself can be felt directly as your own life inside of you. It's not energies, it's not Shakti. It's life. It's unmistakable. You can't confuse it with anything else. It's not bliss. It's not love. It's not energies. It's just life. I guess Nisargadatta calls it beingness. But it's light. It's sentient. It's ever-changing, ever-sparkling, filled with bliss at times. Other times you don't feel the bliss. You just feel the life force. You know that you're the life force. That doesn't make you immortal, because the life force, when the body dies, dissipates. Like a wave, after it spreads out a while, it's just flat. It is no more. But only infinite consciousness remains. But not you as an individual. That's played out. But know that you as an incarnation are special. It's like each of you is a messenger of God, an angel, speaking about your true nature to others, lighting their heart's fire with your own. Like Ralph is discovering in himself that he can do it. Lighting your heart's fire, my fire. I love you all so much. To me, you're all my angels. To me, you're all my children, my lovers, my siblings. We are one in the sun. You feel it? The electricity of your own being mingling with mine. I light your fire. You light my fire. We burn together in harmony, in a huge fire that spreads out and touches more and more people. Let me light your fire, those of you who don't feel it. Can you feel it now? The life force in me, in my heart, reaches out to each of you like a priest with the blood of God, with the flesh of Christ, as an offering for you to take inside and magically transform your spirit into the Holy Ghost, your body into Christ's, your existence as an incarnation of God like Jesus. Know that you're an incarnation of God. Nothing less. Nothing less. And when your body dies, the life force leaves, and you are no more, except that last few minutes of dissolving into the vastness of openness, the happiest and most blissful in your entire life, as you finally relax the burden of being an incarnation and return to pure spirit. It's the ultimate relaxation, the ultimate bliss, where you free yourself from all cares and concerns, all tasks that you've given yourself, all karma, everything that's weighed you down, whether it be fear of entities, fear of the government, the deep state, fear of Trump, fear of death. Surrendered all those last moments, and your spirit relaxes, and you disappear. You hang yourself, you give yourself up to God. And He takes you up and gives you bliss, bliss, bliss in those last few moments. Total relaxation, total acceptance of everything. There may be reincarnation. I doubt it. Ramana did not really talk about it. Robert did not talk about it much because he knew it wasn't important. The important thing is to realize yourself as spirit, as consciousness in this lifetime, and thus be free of your humanhood and become divine, divine bliss, divine love, divine rest. This is my message. It's different from Robert's. As Robert said, each teacher has a different message. His was not exactly that of Ramana, but close. Nisargadatta's was quite different. And mine is different from all of them. Because I don't care so much about the infinite witness that knows all things, experiences all things, but is unknown itself. The witness who is eternal, who's everything and everyone. That I don't care about. What I care about is coming back into existence in this body and constantly witnessing from the point of view of the infinite, God within me, within this body, communing with me, the infinite beyond existence. And that fills me, the infinite beyond existence, the witness. The emptiness inside that infinite witness is filled with the bliss of God. I have come back into the world. I have come alive, as Yourfudamental said. The infinite witness has been born into flesh and thus carries the flame of God inside of his heart and head and gut. And you all carry the heart of God inside you. And I just keep pointing it to you week after week, week after week, in blog statement after blog statement. As every other day I write something for you to read, to inspire you, to help you find the life force within. And it's your journey, it's your burden, so to speak, to do that to others after I leave. And even now, perhaps, as the life force knocks on the door of your consciousness and says, let me in. Let me in, Ralph. And Ralph let it in. Max, Michael, let the life force in. I guess Max has disappeared. I have become Max. Max is not here today. Len, can you tell me about yourself?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been meditating for some time, and it didn't quite do for my suffering what I thought it would. So I'm looking for other paths.
Meditation alone can only lead you to emptiness, and the emptiness can swallow the suffering. But every time you return to humanhood, the suffering too will come back until you know God inside of yourself as the life force. And then when the suffering is there, it's okay. It's like it's being burnt, eradicated, incinerated by the life force. Because the life force is just happiness. It's just yes, 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 yes. They've come alive. Stick around, Len.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Spencer, you look so human without the beard. I was worried that you would join Cave somewhere.
No, I'm content for now to be human and be around people.
Are there any questions? Vesselina, Michael, any questions? Any statements? Any criticisms?
Ed, yeah, this is James for our new friend Len. Len, one of the things I don't know if Ed didn't directly teach it, but I kind of just picked it up. You know, when I used to have fears or problems or suffering or whatever, it was like a big boulder. It was like 90% of my life, and it was like a big boulder. And then the 10% of me was still happy. It's kind of switched over. Now it's like, even though I might have some fear or, suffering, it's only like 10%, and it's here and it's there, and I don't escape it. But now I see the 90% that's happy. I always thought it was all or nothing. Either you're happy or you're sad.
Mm-hmm.
But now I learned that you can hold both. And the majority of me is happy, but sometimes there's suffering, but it's in its proper proportion now. So if that helps, that's kind of something that it's kind of I just learned through osmosis by coming to working with Ed and the rest of the group. So hope that helps.
Thank you, James. Esselina and Michael, anything to say? Vaseline always likes being called on. She feels too shy to initiate conversation, but when I give her permission to stand out, she enjoys it. So stand out, stand tall. And your head is so much bigger than Michael's. You must be very smart.
I must be, probably. Oh, I am better. I feel very good at satsang.
Can you turn up the volume?
I don't know.
No, that's it.
Can you speak louder or closer to the mic?
Where's the mic?
Sorry.
No, I don't want to speak so close. So, I said I like how I feel at satsang. I feel relieved of my everyday life. And I'm happy to be here with everyone. I'm sorry that Angela is not here.
What?
I'm sorry that Angela is not here.
Yes. More than anyone else, I pointed out to you that you were always open for her, to her, and that she should even visit you to get out of Holland and the shithole she's in there.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't do it. She can't reach out to others. Just like you have a hard time reaching out.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds very familiar to me what she's going through, but I don't really know if it's the same thing that I felt for years.
Could be. We'll never know unless she talks to you.
Mm.
Raju.
Not to refer specifically for Angela on this, Guruji, but a more general maybe clarification. Part of the spiritual process, and especially today's discourse, specifically seating yourself in the place of spirit and creating that distance from your body and mind and emotion and energies, and including Shakti. If spirituality kind of leads you to this place where you realize the true spirit, and then you're able to experience other dimensions, but you're still not forgetting the place you are. In that kind of process, Guruji, what Angela is going through, or probably anybody, including myself here, when is the point where you are able to separate what is going on in your mind? You often refer to Robert Adams saying, you become dumb as a rock. When you are in that place, you're almost untouched by anything that is happening within you or around you. But for Angela, as you constantly refer, even though the Shakti is flowing, even though that God has, or she has gone through the spiritual process, again, not referring to her, but in general, why would this pain be of such a magnitude, Guruji, that we are not able to overcome it? What is still that dilemma which kind of puts you in that situation?
The mind.
So it is still a mind game.
It's always the mind. It's the problem. The mind makes up monsters. Just like in that old science fiction movie with Walter Pidgeon and the rescue going to pick him up. And he's on this planet where the ancients had built engines to make force create whatever its residents wanted. But they had many unconscious desires. And they created ugliness and death around them as the forces and desires of their id, the unrestrained child inside, commanded the machines that destroyed everybody else. Monsters from the id, monsters from the mind. Now for Angela, the monsters took the form of demons that she felt were invading her body and her mind as dark energies, as dense energies that were very sharp. And she felt she was being possessed by evil at that point that was trying to destroy her. And she lost hold of the 3 days where she rested in God before she went to trance with Remco, who filled her with the poison of this knowledge. So it's a lot like the Bible, the knowledge of the apple of good and evil. If you don't have the knowledge of evil, or the knowledge of good is different, there's just peace. But once you become aware of good and evil, it's a constant war, and that's how she encountered her living, as a constant war between evil and good. I've never felt that. I've never felt evil. I felt Shakti does weird things, like sometimes appearing to be what people call evil. But it's just what she is in the moment. Sometimes she's destructive, sometimes she's creative, sometimes she's the preserver. Right now, she's acting very strongly through Donald Trump, tearing apart our democracy. Will there become another form of Shakti that will be able to knock him down? Perhaps it's Bernie. The Shakti acting through Bernie. I don't know. We'll see. It's a play. We're watching Shakti and the life force in dynamic, creating this big world play. And we can choose to fall in love with the play and follow it and root for one side or the other. Or we can actually use our energies to try to influence the overall pattern of the play.
As a third option, Guruji, would stepping back and being as a witness, would that be, would preserve some sanity of, you not falling into that trap?
Well, like I was there for 15 years, totally out of it. I found it very boring. I found I wanted to die after a while because of the boredom. And it was a woman that brought me out of that. So no, you can do that. That's a way out. But that's the Advaita way. That's the Buddhist way. That's not the way of life. It's the way of peacefulness and death and withdrawal. So I don't advise it. I think it's much better to feel the pain and the trauma and the drama than the peace of withdrawing from life altogether. I've got a more Christian point of view than Robert Adams or Ramana. Throw yourself into life. You know, my favorite Zen teacher was Maizumi Roshi. Not because he was the smartest or the deepest or the most educated, and I think he was the most educated of them all. But I could see him in Sunzen when we were together. I could see his vulnerability, that he fully felt his humanhood, and that he was not as sure as a Maizumi should be, as a guru should be about everything. He had doubts, and he was very humble. He'd fuck up a lot, like getting drunk and stamping his foot on the floor so that the person underneath him in the apartment underneath him would turn off their music. And he broke his ankle. And for the next 6 weeks, he'd come to satsang, apologizing for what an asshole he had been and how he had disappointed Zen. Other times he had affairs with the students, and he would apologize for them and say he did it without excuse, except that he could. And he says, I've disappointed everybody. I've disappointed and shamed Zen. And he was very open about his problems. And I loved him for that because he was being human with me, not superior, not being Roshi to a student, but freely admitting his fuck-ups to me as an equal. Finally, he died. He drowned in his tub after he got drunk. So one might say he had a miserable death, but I thought it was an awesome death. To drink yourself to death and drown in your own bathtub, that's greater than going out in a battlefield, in the middle of a battle scene, like something from Valhalla. This is going out with a whimper, which is much more human. Any other questions, comments?
Hello, Ed.
Yeah, Mark, how are you?
Very good. I continue
Glad
to
see
be.
you.
Hi, same here. I continue to be more and more established and planted in my being a sea of energy. And so it's just continuing what I've been talking about for the last year, especially with you. And one thing I would like to say, and I'm sure I've said it before, is that your teachings, for me at least, and for many others, I feel, once you've experienced the energies and all that, it's like very obvious that it's true. It's not some kind of concept or idea, it's physical reality. There's a sense of it just as real as any other sense. And when I abide in the energy, it's kind of like floating in the ocean or a large body of water, and your body disappears and you're just one with the body of water, and there's a coherence to it, and there's a blissfulness to it. And the blissfulness I liken to like the little bit of warm water pockets that one encounters and abides in. I find that when I abide in the energies, that there's this bliss, this sugar, sweet nectar that kind of seems to come from the source of where bliss comes from. And it's very subtle, but it's very palpable. So one question I'd like to ask you, I asked you this a few weeks ago, you gave me a response. So is abiding in the energy different than meditation?
No, it's a kind of meditation.
But
Resting in those energies is the same as resting in the emptiness behind the energies. I prefer what you're doing, resting in the energies, because it keeps you in the world and fills you with the energy to be able to do things in the world. And that's what we need, is not people to run out of the world, but people to stay in and fight, to rescue the environment from the Republicans and Trump, rescue each other from depression and pain. We have to be here to help others and to enjoy ourselves in the process of doing that.
So if I understand you correctly, instead of the goings and comings of unicity during meditation, it's something that becomes more and more stable and planted during everyday life.
Yes, until it's constantly roaring through you like a 60-mile-per-hour wind or an 80-mile-per-hour wind, which you can choose to ignore for a while to concentrate on something specific. But you feel the divine force in you at all times. And you can rest in it and just watch it whip around, or you can be guided into action by it. Actions of kindness, of giving, loving, surrender, passing on energies, healing.
A couple more points. I feel that the energies are meditating me, that they're guiding me to the source of it all, to growth, to being more planted and more stable in it.
Exactly. You are entirely beyond the world, beyond experience, beyond the external world, beyond your body, beyond even Shakti. You're along for the ride. And if you join with Shakti and the life force, you can get to enjoy it as a spectacular park ride that lasts as long as it is, but you can be yelling yippee-o-ki-yay, going over the waterfalls and through the chutes and so forth. It can be a very exciting, loving process of being totally, which I can say, totally centered in your body and its energies, knowing you're not the body. Just like the car of a roller coaster is not you. Riding along inside of it can be such a wonderful experience. Not for me, I hate them. I prefer Shakti.
So my last point is just simply through trial and error to find what helps and continue to do what helps and find out what hinders and continue to learn to do less of that. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. Thank you a lot, Mark. Well, I'm going to go now. I've said my piece. I've listened to those who had questions or had comments. And this is a nice point to conclude. I'm going to post this satsang. I haven't posted the last two because they were meant mostly just for us, not for a greater group. Today's this one I'm going to post. I love you all. I hope you can feel that as being true. I send you energy of love and of awakening. Grab it, take it as your own. Light your heart. When after it's lit and you can feel it securely every day, give it to others. Like Rolf, like Mark.
Hey, Ed?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
It's Michael T. Hi. Before you sign out, you got a plan B for Angela?
No. I have to honor her desire to be left alone, because I could keep coming back and she would take me back all the time because she loved seeing me and being with me. But she feels as if she has to get away to find God by herself, because speaking to me no longer brings a vision of God to her. She just feels shitty in comparison to how I'm expressing that I am. So no bad plan B this time. I had many plan Bs before. I played them all out, and I have to let her go.
It seems like we need to do a Israeli Entebbe kind of raid or something. Send a SEAL team in there. And
you can contact her, say you love her, and if you're willing to talk or be with her at any time, do that on Facebook. She's on Facebook.
Okay.
Or her mail. I hate to post her email, though, for people to email. But if you ask me privately, I can give you an email for her.
Okay.
Take care. Love you all. I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll add a second section, doing something different, doing inner work with emotions and with suffering. Bye-bye.